So now we try to understand what is the origin of electric charge by friction. So from where this electric charge, what is the cause behind the frictional electricity? Now in order to understand, I would take the example of say silicon 14. Silicon, although it's a semiconductor material, has got 14 protons inside the nucleus and has got 14 neutrons. So the nucleus consists of 14 protons and 14 neutrons. So its atomic number is 14 and atomic mass is 28. And there are in the orbit 14 electrons revolving. So there are 14 electrons which are revolving in the orbit, 2, 8 and then 4. So there are 14 electrons which are revolving in the orbit. Now in this outermost orbit, if I want to knock out one electron from it, the energy required for that will be called as work function. So work function is the energy required to knock out the electron from the orbit. And as a whole, if I see what is the charge on this silicon atom, so the charge on this silicon is plus 14 is the charge on the nucleus and minus 14 is the charge of the electron. So the net charge is 0. So as a whole, silicon is neutral with 14 electron and with 14 proton in the nucleus. But when I rub this silicon or maybe any such material against some other material, then it also will have the same arrangement. It will have a net charge 0 on every atom of it. It will have its own work function for the outermost electrons. But say in a condition if the work function of the electrons of silicon is less and work function of the electrons of this material ABC is more, and when they are rubbed against each other, then it is more likely that the electrons from the silicon will transfer here. And just imagine that one electron from one silicon atom transfers. Now the net positive charge at the nucleus was 14e of every atom of silicon and net negative charge on every silicon atom will be minus 13e. So there will be a net charge on the silicon which is plus e, whereas this particular material which was rubbed against has gained one electron, say for every atom, so it will have a negative charge. It will have an excess negative charge, excess number of electrons, and the one who loses will have lack of those electrons. So the one who loses will get positively charged, the one who gains will get negatively charged. So the arrangement is that when the two rods or when the two materials are rubbed against each other, then some electrons shift from one material to another material. And they shift from the one which has less work function for its electron to the one which has more work function for its electron. So they shift, the one who lose become positively charged, the one who gains become negatively charged. And from where this energy of work function come? It is the energy during the friction that is provided by the external source. It provides the required energy to overcome the work function. So I hope it is very clear that the origin, if I talk about the one who lose, the atom which lose the electrons become positively charged, and the atoms or molecule which gains electron become negatively charged. Yes, in the process, neither a net loss of electron, neither a net gain of electron take place. So thus the total charge remain conserved. If there is a object A and there was an object B and both were neutral and then they were rubbed against each other, and as a result, say 5 electrons have transferred from object A to object B, then object A will have a net charge of plus 5e, object B will have a net charge of minus 5e, but net charge, total charge will remain the same. So this is the reason of, origin of electric charge by friction. During friction, the energy provided, it just provide the necessary work function for the electrons to get teared off from one of those one of those material, and then those electrons are shifted to another one which loses the electron, become positively charged. The one which gains the electron become negatively charged. So this is how the origin of electric charge. And yes, every electron carries some mass. So when the electrons are shifting, then they also carry some mass along with. So the one which loses, so if the 5 electrons are shifting, at the same time 5 mass of electron is also shifting. So there is certainly a loss of mass, the one which gets positively charged, and there is a gain of charge to the one which gets negatively charged. So that's how is the origin of electric charge. So now we talk about the units of electric charge, how to actually measure electric charge. And when we talk about unit of electric charge, the electric charge is represented by Q, and there is a basic relation we should keep in mind is current into time. So I represent current, T represent time, and Q represent electric charge. The SI unit of electric charge is Coulomb, and from this we can also say it is ampere second. So if I talk about SI unit of electric charge, it is either Coulomb or ampere second. Let's take electrostatic unit or CGS unit of electric charge. So when we talk about CGS unit of electric charge, we represent it as ESU or stat coulomb or Franklin. So we have CGS unit, which is stat coulomb, which is mostly used, and then we have another unit which is electromagnetic unit, and this electromagnetic unit is 10 coulomb. So one electromagnetic unit is 10 coulomb, and similarly 1 coulomb is 3 into 10 to the power 9 stat coulomb. So if I say what is 1 EMU, it will become 3 into 10 to the power 10 stat coulomb. So you can see over here the relation. 1 coulomb is actually 3 into 10 to the power 9 stat coulomb. So 1 SI unit or MKS unit is 3 into 10 to the power 9 of CGS unit. And then if you are talking electromagnetic unit is 3 into 10 to the power 10 stat coulomb. We have got another units, another practical units, some practical units. When we say it is whenever we are actually utilizing the storage of charge in a region. So these practical units are more usable, and that is ampere hour. If you just look at the inverter batteries in your home or the car batteries, the unit is written as ampere hour instead of ampere second. So 1 ampere hour is 3600 coulomb or ampere second. This is one unit which we use quite a lot in all the storage batteries, ampere hour. Similarly, 1 Faraday. So 1 Faraday is 96500 coulomb, and this unit is actually used in electroplating. In electroplating, 1 Faraday is the amount of charge required to accumulate 1 mole of the substance on one of the electrode. So it is 96500 coulomb. So that's how we have got various units. And if I repeat, we have 1 coulomb, we have stat coulomb, we have EMU. So 1 coulomb is 3 into 10 to the power 9 stat coulomb, and also 1 electromagnetic unit is 10 coulomb or 3 into 10 to the power 10 stat coulomb. And if you are using ampere hour, so 1 ampere hour is 3600 coulomb or ampere second. And another practical unit is farad. So 1 farad is 96500 coulomb. So that's how we have got very important units of electric charge.